Hello again from Fired Up. I'm your host for the show, Bob Irwin, broadcasting from Rigel Studios here in Las Vegas, Nevada. This show is about guns, related politics, and self-defense issues. Fired Up is on our website, firedupwithboberwin.com. A new show is posted every Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific time, give or take. New shows also appear on YouTube and numerous other media. The audio feed is broadcast for radio listeners Saturdays at noon on the Nevada Talk Network. You can check out KELY1230.com for a station in your area. It amounts to 18 or 20 stations throughout Nevada, AM and FM. If you have questions or comments, you can send an email to bob@firedupmail.com. That's bob@firedupmail.com. Or leave a message on my home office recorder, or my office recorder. It's 702-257-1060. That is 702-257-1060. If you leave contact information, I'll respond by email, text, or telephone. The questions directed to my guest will be on to his own website and email, which will be on just a second here. There are several hundred defensive uses of firearms every week in the United States, rarely covered, at least covered rationally by mainstream media. So we always present some of those for our listeners' education. Most are good shooting, some are questionable, sometimes they're actually wrong shootings, but I pick them out because they're educational to all firearms owners. Remember that individual incidents are generally adjudicated under local law. The advice given here might not apply to listeners in different jurisdictions. The incidents are as reported, except as policy, we tend to eliminate the names of the players involved. We'll tell the attorneys and the police officers' names, but those involved, we leave their names out generally. My guest today is California and Nevada firearms specialist attorney, Donald J. Green. Don, a bit of your background, if you would.
Okay, thanks, Bob. Again, it's a pleasure being on your show. The emphasis of my practice has to do with firearms, criminal practice, civil practice, in the sense of we work with people to try to see if they can clear up any records with the FBI. We have several appeals going on right now. We also represent people before the alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, like firearms dealers, if there's going to be like an audit. We also represent people who are under suspicion for either sales or possession of firearms, whether they're stolen or whether they're selling them at gun shows. Again, in just a few minutes, you can get my website, but if you want to call me directly, my 24-hour cellular is 702-409-8239, and it's never off unless we're in federal court. Thanks, Bob.
Or we're on the air here.
Or we're on the air here, yes.
Yes. If you're watching this live, don't call. Okay, here we go. This is from WYMT TV 57, which is CBS, and WSAZ TV, Channel 3 on NBC, reported on the 7th of this month, August 7th, in Lawrence County, Kentucky. A 14-year-old girl fired a gun, a 9mm pistol, at someone looking to break into her home, according to the Lawrence County Constables Association, and confirmed by the Lawrence County Sheriff's Office. On Sunday, two men in a white sedan pulled up to a home in Blaine. One of them got out of the car and repeatedly tried to gain entry by trying to kick in the door. That's unusual. Anyway, inside the home were three teenage girls who reacted by calling 911. Good. They were at home alone at the time, and their father was at work and their mother at the store. At one point, the man who was trying to break in circled around to the backyard and was apparently about to bust open the window with a shovel. Then, for some reason, that suspect and his driver started arguing. During the argument, the youngest of the teenage girls in the home, only 14 years old, mind you, found and loaded a 9mm pistol. Once she noticed the argument between the two men, she fired the gun in their general directions, and they left. People tend to do that when you shoot at them. Lawrence County Constable, his name is David Castle, and Lawrence County Sheriff's Deputy Corey Cook responded to the 911 call, were unable to find the two men after searching for several hours. Here we go. I think she did take some necessary steps to protect herself, the constable reported, although she could have done a little better considering that she is 14 years old. She did a good job. He went on to say, I encourage everyone that can legally carry a firearm to carry a firearm to protect themselves and their families, just in case the need arises. Anyone with information on the men trying to invade the home are encouraged to contact the Lawrence County Sheriff's Office. You can find that, I'm sure, 911, or find it in the phone book. This was just great. Firearm safety and training for children prevents curiosity-related accidents and allows proper self-defense should the needs arise. This is a great outcome, including the suspect not being killed. The likely trauma to the shooter would only haunt this girl for years. I applaud this young lady and her parents. What do you think, Don?
In California, the girl is going to be charged with attempted murder, felony discharge of a firearm from an occupied structure, felony discharge of a firearm in a residential area, firearm possession and shooting of a firearm in an area where people are likely to be killed. The parents, when they come home, are probably not going to find their daughter because their daughter's going to be in juvenile court. The parents are going to be arrested because in California, they must secure the firearm and the ammunition. Correct. This is the absurdity of this law, which we now have in Nevada, effective, January 1st, 2020?
Yep.
We have a new storage law. You should always store your weapons, but this is the absurdity because note that first, the guy comes to the house, he repeatedly tries to gain entry. That's point number one. He apparently tries to bust in a window with a shovel, point number two. So there's a fear of great bodily harm or injury. But notice, she doesn't do anything yet. She doesn't do anything until the suspect and the guy in the car start arguing. Then what does she do? She goes and gets a firearm. She gets the firearm and not only gets it, she loads it. And then she notices the argument ensuing outside. She shoots at the men. Now, again, 14 years old in California, you don't have to have any specific age to defend yourself. You could be 6 years old. You could be 7 years old. But if these men were in the house, I think the result would be entirely different. But if you're in Los Angeles County, you're in San Diego County, you're in Merced County, and San Francisco, San Jose, this little girl is facing some serious charges, as are the parents. That's my take on it.
Yeah, I understand that, and I agree. She's fortunate to live in basically a gun-free state in Kentucky. It would be worse. Imagine if she was in New York City and this happened. Oh. The parents would be in prison in New York City. Anyway, it's a good outcome. It's a good example of why you should teach your children gun safety, familiarity with firearms. Generally, it's for gun safety, so they won't be curious if they find a gun laying around the house. But in the rare occasion when self-defense is needed and there's no adults there, this saved everybody. Saved everybody. This second story comes from Fox 5 News in Atlanta. A reporter named Doug Evans reported on the 19th of this month, which is yesterday from the time we're doing this broadcast, 2 days ago. In Newnan, Georgia, deputies in Conway County say an armed off-duty employee may have stopped a mass shooting at a crowded bar on Sunday morning. Deputies say the security footage also shows the 22-year-old suspect being ejected from Fat Boy's Bar and Grill, that's just picturesque to me, on Highway 16. Security had confronted him numerous times about his behavior Saturday morning. The suspect is seen on video repeatedly trying to get into the bar and repeatedly security turning him away. Deputies say the off-duty employee became concerned by the 27-year-old's warnings that he was going to return and shoot up the bar. So the video shows the employee moving a small caliber rifle from the back of his SUV into the SUV's back seat, where it was more handy. It appears the employee shouts to the 27-year-old, who then opens fire on the employee. He's carrying a handgun, remember? So another camera shows the 27-year-old shooter pursuing the off-duty employee and firing continuously with his handgun, even after that employee is down. The 27-year-old then grabs the employee's rifle and runs away. So now the guy's got both guns. The shooter was later tracked down by a police canine and arrested, hopefully bitten. Deputies have charged the 27-year-old shooter with aggravated assault. The off-duty employee, who was shot 4 to 6 times, this story just came out, so we don't have the exact reports, has undergone surgery at Atlanta Medical Center. The deputies credit this true hero employee with stopping what could have been a mass shooting inside the bar, obviously. A good guy with a gun is in the right place at the right time, saves multiple lives. On-site security can be neutralized by surprise attacks, and the police are at best a few minutes away. So having a gun in your vehicle is a little slower than carrying one on your person, but at least it was available. Went for years when I lived in states where I couldn't have a gun in my pocket, carrying one in my car where it was sort of legal because it was unloaded usually. I'm sure it was by the time the police knew about it. Anyway, the police, we say this as a joke all the time. When seconds count, the police are minutes away. Obviously, in this case, this guy is so erratic that he shot this guy over and over when he was down. Hopefully he'll be okay. We don't have anything further on this at the moment because I say it just happened. He was in surgery when this report was written. So, Mr. Green, here we have another great self-defense case, but we're going to apply it to what would happen in Nevada and California.
That's right. Bob, where's the 911 call? That's my first question. Now, everything starts to go well. Number one, the suspect is repeatedly ejected and numerous times, and he was warned numerous times about the behavior. Number three, the video shows the suspect repeatedly trying to get back into the place. Number four, security is repeatedly turning him away. No 911 call, according to this. Then there's warnings that the suspect is going to shoot up the bar. Nothing about a 911 call. Video then, number six, the video then shows the employee going to his vehicle, removing a small caliber rifle. In California, even with 4 or 5 bullets in him, the suspect after surgery is probably going to be handcuffed to the bed in the surgical ward of the jail. Why? Because being an off-duty security officer does not entitle you to protect others. It also does not entitle you to go to your car and get the weapon and then come back, because you can't claim self-defense. You can't claim self-defense because where is the fear of the immediate great bodily injury or death? Well, it's right here, but when you go to your car, open up the trunk, get the rifle, whatever caliber it is, when you get the rifle, that cuts out, for many prosecutors, that cuts out the fear and great bodily injury. It looks as if you're going to go and kill somebody because you can't claim self-defense. Is it stand your ground? No. So I think that there are some real serious problems in California, especially in the coastal counties, San Diego, Los Angeles, definitely San Francisco, as to where this would have happened. That again, this is how I look at it.
I agree. And he's, again, like the previous story, this guy is fortunate he's in Georgia when this is going on. And I just can't imagine that a bar named Fat Boys Bar and Grill in Kentucky that the bad guy would have been better off, actually worse off, if he'd gotten into the bar, because I suspect half the people in there were packing.
Probably.
Unless they may have some rule about guns in bars in Georgia or this town in Georgia that I'm not aware of. But boy, I just, this is 2 in a row. We are looking at California, Nevada law, and this guy's he's a hero.
But again, that emphasizes your point at the beginning of the show. You have to look at local law and double check it. And I was going to point out, Bob, for this example, how do I do this? Training, going to classes, going to gun shows, meeting with experts.
And knowing what your local law allows. In this case, he's apparently okay. I'm not physically, obviously. If you pull this article up, you'll find there's a trust been put together for his medical costs and so forth. We're going to break for 1 second and go through some of our friends and sponsors here. This is Freestyle Martial Arts. They're at Jones and Russell, the shopping center there, about 500 feet from where I live. You can reach them at 702-551-9009. Goker is the fellow who runs it. He trains martial arts competitors for the UFC and so forth. And I strongly recommend his course. He's a great guy, small businessman trying to make a go of it. Good guy. Beyond that, we have my friends at CCS Gunsmithing. Chris Eifelt is there. He runs the NRA's auction things to raise money for the NRA. You can reach Chris at 702-365-1732. He's on Rainbow and Sahara, basically, in a shopping center there. And we have, Jerry Creed. I say, every one of these I say Jerry Creed. I say, my friend Jerry Creed. Jerry Creed does estate planning, if you're looking at this in the video, Medicaid and so forth, and probate. His alter ego is he does trusts for gun trusts, yes, and particularly Class 3 trusts. With what's coming up, if you've got a bunch of guns and you think you might need to will them to somebody, you need to give Jerry Creed a call, 702-806-7777. 702-806-7777. Don Green. I wonder if I could find somebody else named Don Green who's done something really bad I can use in the next show.
Thank you.
I'm going to look. Don Green is a great gun defense lawyer. He does litigation and other things too. From the perspective of this show, it's gun litigation and defense. If you have a problem, particularly regulatory problems, Don is a specialist at that. 702-409-8239. He'll give that a little bit later in the show again. Anyway. And my friend Maggie Mordaunt, one of the best instructors I've ever seen. She and her husband teach all over the place. You can find her at hpptraining.com, spelled out, hpptraining.com, or just search CCW Maggie. You will find all her classes and times and whatever. Wonderful instructor, she and her husband. Great job. And Ricardo's. Ricardo's Restaurant is where you usually find me on Friday afternoons having lunch. They're at Flamingo and Decatur here in Las Vegas. They do group meetings and have banquet rooms for awards and so forth and so on. Great place to eat. 702-227-9100. 702-227-9100. Ask for Bob when you're there. That's the name of the owner, so I can remember that. And we are back. I pulled part of what I was doing here, but anyway, okay. This third story is from WTVM TV9. A reporter named Maya Johnson reported on August 15th in Phoenix City, it's spelled Phenix, in Alabama. It was lunchtime Wednesday when two men came through the front door of the Custom Jewelers wearing masks and with guns in their hand. That's a clue. The owner spotted them right away and decided to take matters into his own hands. Video captured by surveillance cameras inside the store show the owner come up on the robbers, shoot at them, and then chase them out of the store. The owner isn't sure what all the robbers were after when they entered the store, but said seeing himself and other employees in a life-threatening situation left him with no choice but to take matters into his own hands. Applauds here. He told the media, you know, sometimes someone puts a gun at you and comes in with a weapon and your life was in danger. Therefore, you have the right to defend yourself, and that's what we did yesterday. No applause here for talking to the media. The Russell County District Attorney's Office spokesman named Justin Clark said if you find yourself in harm's way where you're fearing for your life, then it's your right to use Alabama's Stand Your Ground law. If you are in business and you saw men coming in with masks on and they were armed, you have the right to defend yourself and also others in the business. Pretty clear. He added, interesting, talking about Alabama law, other laws we've gotten more modern times have extended it to businesses. This is their Stand Their Ground law. In some other states, they've extended it to vehicles, as we have in Nevada, and they have gone as broad as you can go with Alabama's Stand Your Ground laws. The two would-be robbers ran from the scene on foot through a side door of the jewelry store and left their getaway car behind, which was apparently a rental or something. They're going to be caught. If you have any information about the suspects, you are asked to contact the Phoenix City Police. You can find them on the internet. Again, it's PHENIX City in Alabama. I commented here, I expect a fairly easy identification of the criminals as they apparently left a lot of evidence in their unused getaway car. A brazen armed robbery in the middle of the day. Had the shop owner not been armed, the result would have been tragic for the owner and his family. Again, this is a third one in a row. They don't get much better than this. But if you were in California or Nevada, surely, what happens?
In California, there might be, it's 50-50. Because number one, did the owner have the right to even possess the weapon in the first place? Number two, the defense of others has to be where there's great bodily harm or injury right there. Now, we do have people, as you point out, going into the jewelry store, custom jewelry store, with armed with weapons and masks. They are not collecting for the Red Cross. They're not selling Girl Scout cookies. They're there to rob the place. And notice a point that you just made a moment ago. They didn't go to their car. They left out the side door as if maybe they'd staked out the place before and checked it out. So they had some other means of getting away from there. But in California, I think it's going to be 50-50 because we have to analyze what the district attorney is going to do in Los Angeles County as to whether he had the right to have the weapon. And was the weapon legal? Did it have the right number of cartridges? The right number of cartridges inside a magazine? Although we've got there's a stay on the magazine law, the new magazine law in California. They're still going to enforce some aspects of it in the event that there's some kind of a shooting. But as you point out, with the Stand Your Ground in Alabama, our businesses that have extended. In Nevada a few years ago, the legislature extended Stand Your Ground and Castle Doctrine, to your vehicle. That doesn't mean you can go out and shoot everybody when you're in your car. Well, again, we need to tell the people you need extra training. You need to be aware of your laws, and the way you're going to do that is to go to seminars or extra training, like Bob pointed out with Maggie Mordaunt, or wherever you want to go in California. There's seminars, there's training, or gun shows. Go to gun shows, speak to the experts, speak to the people who are offering these classes, ask them some specific questions. Now, although they're not giving you legal advice, they're telling you that during our seminar, we're going to do this, and we're going to try to impress upon you the necessity to be aware, situational awareness, be aware of the laws, and to know that we're talking milliseconds. We're talking milliseconds when you fire that weapon. And so training is going to be very important. And this is a very good example, good shooting or a good display of the firearm with this owner of the jewelry store.
Anybody in their right mind would have done exactly the same thing, which means he's going to come out of this okay. This last story, we've only got a couple seconds, but I kind of have to run this one. Alexis Eglund of the Las Vegas Review-Journal reported on the 19th of this month, a couple days ago, Las Vegas, Nevada man was sentenced to 14 years in federal prison for unlawful possession of firearms, the Justice Department announced. Robert Irwin, age 35, illegally possessed 9 firearms in August of 2017, including a stolen semi-automatic weapon, etc. Irwin pleaded guilty in January to felony possession of a firearm, conspiracy to distribute methamphetamine. District Judge Jennifer Dorsey also sentenced Irwin to 5 years of supervised release from prison. Now, I have to comment on this. I thank you all for the calls and the text messages. This isn't me. It isn't a relative that I'm aware of. But I appreciate the humorous calls I got. Especially, I want to thank the 2 or 3 people who thought, having watched this show, that I was 35 years old, so this had to be me. Terrific. God bless you. And I hope you get some glasses somewhere. You can catch our recent shows at firedupwithboberwin.com. It contains several dozen episodes. The commercials keep us on the air, so the sponsors that we showed you, please patronize them and tell them Bob sent you when you get there. If you find our show on any media, you can simply hit subscribe. There'll be a button on your computer, and you'll get a new show every Thursday at around 5 p.m. We're running out of time. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back a week from now. I believe, Don, you're coming back next week?
Yes, sir, we are.
And we will be right here. Thanks for watching.
Thank you again, Bob.